Kia ora and welcome to Wahine, a podcast celebrating wahine in business who are carving their own path with intention, courage and vision. This is a space for honest kōrero about building a business that reflects your identity, your values and the legacy you're creating. I'm your host, Sandra Julian, business coach, mentor and wahine Māori. In each episode, I sit down with wahine entrepreneurs and leaders to explore the real stories behind their success, the lived experiences, the cultural connections, and the bold leadership that shape who they are not only in business, but in life. This isn't hustle culture. This is wahine legacy leadership. Kia ora Pounamu, nau mai haere mai ki tēnei hōtaka a wahine. Welcome to the podcast. It is so lovely to have you here and to have this conversation. I know a lot. Well, I think I know a bit about your journey. We've connected multiple times throughout the years, but I'm sure during this conversation, I'm going to learn a whole lot more that I didn't know about you and your business journey. So it's so great to, know someone for many years, but still have a conversation that feels a bit unknown as well. So I'm sure our journey today on the podcast is going to be filled with lots of inquisitive twists and turns along the journey as I get curious about the things that I don't know about you. But I think to start us off and give the listeners a bit of who you are and what you do, I will hand over to you to introduce yourself.
Kia ora, Sandra. Kia ora koutou. Ai, he uri o Taranaki Maunga, no Te Atiawa, Taranaki Tuturu, me Ngāti Ruanui, oku iwi, ko Pounamu Skelton, tōku ingoa. So, as you all know, my name's Pounamu. I I come from Taranaki, and actually I live on our papakāinga just out of North Waitara, in the north here, in a little place called Onaero. And our papakāinga is called Te Rau Orongo, the multiple ways to heal ourselves.
That's beautiful. And so your business journey, what is your business currently and who does it serve? Like, who is your clientele with your current business?
Yeah, so my business is kind of multifaceted, as we all are. So I create online and in-person programs, especially around māra, so growing of organic food, and also around rongoā, so different ways of healing. I also provide consultation to organisations, mainly around anything to do with kai sovereignty, so kai strategies, perhaps a larger national composting project that's going on, and small local projects. I often are pulled in to do public speaking, so whether that's on a panel or at an event or at a conference. I also create bespoke professional development workshops for businesses and organisations that might want to bring some team building, which is quite land-based. So they come to our papakāinga here and we'll do some different kind of activities. And more recently, I'm creating an apothecary boutique, which is all about bringing forth natural herbal products into a product range, which is yet to be launched this spring. Yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, that's exciting, but all revolving around what you grow in the garden?
That's right. It's all based on the philosophy of hua parakore, which is our tupuna ways of growing food and medicine and people.
Yeah. And so your garden at your papakāinga, you're growing food and you're growing herbs that then get made into rongoā, and then all of the ingredients of your product that you're working on is all grown on the papakāinga?
That is the goal. That is the aim.
Okay.
So the first product range that's coming out soon has all come from this whenua. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Like, that is really, really amazing. Tell me about that journey on the māra. So moved into the papakāinga. Was there anything there, or was it just blank land?
Oh, super blessed to be able to get 5 acres in the north of Taranaki, where actually you could throw a seed out of the window and it would grow. Like, it's super fertile here, and very good growing conditions. So my parents and I brought this property together, and with the vision that I'd held for 24 years actually, to want to be organic as much as possible, to be able to live sustainably, to be close to my tūrangawaewae, which happens to be less than a kilometre away from here, and to be able to share that with our whānau hapua niwi along the journey. And, you know, the power of a vision, being able to hold that for so long, and we've been here 2.5 years now, and it's just kind of rolled out really smoothly and with ease to bring that vision to life.
So what kind of plants were on the land when you brought it, and what have you put on there in the last 2.5 years? Like, what does that journey look like from acquiring the land to now at this point where you're like, yes, I can work on launching a product range because I now have all of the ingredients in my garden to do that? Like, it seems such a short period of time to have blossom out of it a product range. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. There was a citrus orchard here, which was blessing. So we've put in an orchard, another fruit orchard with pip fruit and stone fruit. An 18-metre seed tunnel house has gone on. So that's the production propagation space. That was a koha actually from Taranaki iwi. We've put in a 1-acre ngāhere to grow rongoā. So probably 1,500 trees have gone in.
Wow.
So that's the future rongoā space, plus, you know, regenerating whenua, firstly, and bringing the birds back. We've got 9 different growing spaces now, including 2 flower beds for picking flowers. Yeah, lovely kumara bed, potato bed, all sorts of stuff, dedicated herbal space.
Wow.
How do you do that? You just keep working.
I was going to say, and who helps you take care of all of that? Like, that feels a lot, and not just kai, but flowers and trees and fruit, and that's a range.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you take care of that by yourself?
I'm an indulgent queen. Like, I like a lot of stuff. If I'm going to do life, I'm going to do, it in abundance.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, it's a family affair. So my dad helps out, heaps. He's 82, but he's still building things around the place. He's built me a workshop so I can teach out of that. I just came back from overseas and there was a big storage cupboard built so I can put all the apothecary stuff in there. Fences have gone up because of his, masterful skills. And my sister's the flower gardener. She comes up monthly and goes around in her flower garden. So everyone has a role here,
Yeah.
I grow food. Dad does the maintenance and building. My sister does flowers. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I saw recently that your girls were at home helping out during their break.
Yes.
They're still at uni? They are at home?
They're both finished, but they do live in Dunedin. So when they come home, it's for a good couple of weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the part of the vision, like they will be my legacy. They will take it. They'll be left with this place. Every tree I plant, I think about mokopuna yet to come through. And so there's a permanence about what we're doing, There's systems being put in place, trees that are growing that will outlive me, but will be for my children and my mokopuna yet to be born.
And the girls, they're in Dunedin at the moment, but they have plans on returning home? Or are they just like, not yet, Mum?
Well, this was a conversation around the pool in Rarotonga a couple of weeks ago.
Oh. okay.
Looking at future plans, making sure that the vision of this place and, is alive, is living, and not just within me, but my tamariki, my children. Yes, my oldest girl's coming home end of the year, so she'll be based here. She's doing her PhD, and my youngest one doesn't reckon she'll be home for another 9 years. But coming home.
Oh, that's quite specific.
Yes, he's very well planned, that child.
Nice. That's really inspiring to know that, not only have you brought your vision to life, but the vision is shared, with your kids who are your legacy. So
yeah, sure. It's a generation.
That's super inspiring.
Yeah, because I've got my parents, 80s, got me, and then I've got my kids.
Right.
I've got my sister and her family roll through regularly.
Yeah.
We're only a small whānau, but, mighty visionary, big dreams.
Yeah.
Big outputs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to do on our whenua as a whole, so I don't know. I just feel every day is a blessing, really, to be in this position, to be able to even make these decisions.
Yeah, that's very, very inspiring. Tell me about what did you call it? Apothecary.
Apothecary? Yes, a kupu hou, I know.
Apothecary. Yeah, kupu hou for me. Apothecary. Right?
Yeah, so my past has always been a love affair with flowers and essential oils, so medicinal plants.
Yeah.
And I had a moment when I lived in South Africa and the whole garden was herbal medicine, was herbs. So everything was edible and it was medicinal. So I've always wanted to have that, be surrounded by that. So an apothecary has been able to grow the herbs, bring them into our drying room space. So Dad built me a drying room so I can dry plants or flowers or leaves. And then the next part is to take them and turn them into a product. So it might be herbal tea, it might be balms, creams, vinegars, culinary products, or products for the body. Yeah. Hydrosols. I don't know if you know what they are.
Yeah. Because somewhere along the journey, I think I recall you were making handmade soaps.
I haven't done soaps. Can't have been me.
Oh, okay. All right. I must have been thinking about somebody else who was doing handmade soaps, and I was like, wow, that just blew my mind that you could make soap.
Yeah.
So in your desire to launch this product range with ingredients from your garden, what do you got plans on what that line might look like? Is it going to be like vinegars and cooking ingredients, or more body balms? What does that look like, do you think?
So we are opening for Sustainable Backyards, which is the early November, first time opening our space, inviting the public in, and then I'll launch a gardening set of products. So as a gardener, you always come in and you got dirty hands, then you get really dry hands. So just focusing on a gardening set of hand products mainly. Yeah, so made from the pulp from the lemons that we have here, working with some salt. We don't have salt here, but mixing the ingredients together and come up with this really great hand scrub. So I've been testing it for maybe 7 months now, just making sure that it works and that, it's viable and that it's useful. Because whatever I create, it's got to be be meaningful. And then the other thing is you get really dry hands actually when you've been working outside a lot. So created a beautiful body butter, which has got some of the herbs that have been infused in oil and then combined with different ingredients like beeswax, which I got locally, shea butter, so that you can, after you've scrubbed your hands clean, and then you can put this beautiful moisturising hand balm on after your gardening. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really delicious.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I also make hydrosols. So that's distilling herbs and creating, it's like a pure water that comes off when you do distilling, but it's infused with the herbal essence in it. And you can use them as sprays, so room sprays, body sprays. Yeah, so introducing people to natural ways of being, instead of chemical-laden products, which is on offer as well.
Yeah, yeah. How have you learned how to turn what you grow into a product? So what kind of journey has that looked like from when you're like, all right, what can I do apart from eat what I grow or have it look pretty on my garden table because it's a bouquet of beautiful flowers? Like, what does that journey look like to really understand how you can take what's in the garden and turn it into a product that is like a balm or a scrub?
Yeah, I guess a lot of daydreaming. First like, questioning, what do I really want? So that's my favourite question. What is it I really want?
Yeah.
And then work out the how after. So my whole philosophy in life is to live quite naturally, to live as close naturally as possible. And to teach that, remind people, because that's actually where we've come from. We've just got a little bit off track. But then I've just done my apprenticeship in herbal medicine and manufacturing down at Phyto Farm, which is in Little River in Akaroa. So I've just spent the last 9 months travelling back and forth, learning from one of the masters in New Zealand around herbal medicine. Yeah, and putting it into action.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. How did that journey come about? Like, that's quite specific, is to having taken apprenticeship with this particular person in this really small town in New Zealand.
Really small town. Well, I knew what I wanted. I just had to find out the where and the who.
Yeah.
And I wanted someone that grew her own herbs, was a gardener, and then manufactured them, so processed them herself. So there's not many people that actually do that in New Zealand, like less than 5, I would say. So it's a real specific niche.
Yeah.
I took a gin course with her first to go check it out, a gin botanical course. And, I always listen to the whenua. And if the whenua's like, yep, this is a good place, it aligned with her values, aligned with my values, well, then it was, yes, okay, I'll invest my time and my money and come and learn beside you.
Wow. That's really incredible because, like you say, quite specific. And just trying to find those people, because usually they're just in their little corner of their world doing their own thing the way that they want to live life and put things into the world. So how did you find that person anyway?
How did I find that person? I think Google would have helped along the way.
Right.
Oh, I know. I was in Christchurch doing a job and I went into a shop, which was a apothecary shop, and I picked up a brochure. That's right. And I've held it in a book for like months before I really looked at it. And then, when you go, oh, this, I'm like, I got obsessed about it, like reading the brochure, looking online, trying to gather as much information as possible. And then I committed to do the gin course, which was, I live in Waitara and that's in Little River. It's big. Had to take a plane ride.
Yeah.
Just go and suss it out, do my due diligence. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Wow.
And now I'm on the side of it.
Yeah. And so your apprenticeship, is that coming to an end? Was that a specific period of time?
Yeah, I finished in June.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So June this year I finished.
Nice. And so what next? What does the journey look like next before launching, your product range?
Well, there's so many learnings, so many things I do not know how to do.
Right.
This is not like, hey, this is what you do to launch a product.
Yeah. This
is how you do a label. Like it's been quite, it's painful because actually you have to find your own resource. It probably is is more help, but they haven't come past me yet. So learning on the job, I've brought on a contractor to help me do the refinement. I'll stick to what I'm good at, which is the making of the product, and she's doing the refinement of the labeling and the pretty stuff and asking me the hard questions. So it's a lot of labouring and working it out, spreadsheets. And sometimes it's quite hard, I'll be honest. I don't know. I've never done this before, and I don't really know anyone who's done it. So I haven't been able to ask anyone. Yeah, so I think that's part of that birthing. You've got to go through the labour.
Yeah.
And these guys will get birthed, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and you'll iterate and you'll iterate and you'll iterate.
And I just don't stop. You've got to keep going.
Yeah, yeah. What's your big dream for that product?
Oh, big dream for the product. Gee, well, I want a whole range. I'm working on 3 tea blends at the moment, because actually what I've noticed when I drink the teas from the whenua, they taste so good and they feel really good when you ingest them. So there's a real rongoā aspect to taking the teas from the land. So, yeah, they're just about landed, actually, the blends. And then the other side of it is almost spring, so I've got to grow a lot of those herbs to be able to get enough product out of the garden to dry and make tea. Yeah. Big dream. Oh, look, this is part of a massive dream to empower our whānau if they want to grow herbs, to be able to also, I'll teach them how to grow so that they could too grow for some of our product and for another, my colleague's product as well, which is now in Canada. So some of our calendula we grew here is now in a beautiful product called Pause for Tea. It's a sparkling sugar-free drink, which is now being exported to Canada. So we've gone from just a little herb grower to potentially a supplier to, a larger audience. And the main thing is that we tell our story, that we're Indigenous, that we hold fast to the tikanga of our tupuna, and that we're not spraying, we're not harming, we're increasing the modi of this herbs as it goes through its manufacture and into the teas, and then it's ingested by people from around the world.
Amazing. Just, hearing you speak to that dream was just very inspiring. But you have such clarity around what that looks like.
It's coming. Because I've gone of training everybody, other marae, other groups to grow herbs. So I'm just figuring that out at the moment. The best place I can figure stuff out is either walking on the beach or being in the garden pulling weeds, because then I get to think about it and what are all the steps, and I get to imagine it. I'm not sure about you, but I've got to see it before I can make it happen.
Yeah, me too. I've got to be able to see it in my mind, and really vividly picture it,
yes.
And then reverse engineer it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And it's really funny because that's how I thought everyone worked.
Right.
Is everyone was able to visualize what it was described. So I was in the event industry for years because people would come to me and say, we want our event to be da, 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 da. And as they are talking to me about what they want their event to be, I've got this massive picture going on in my mind, almost to the point where I can walk through the venue and know what I'm seeing at every point and what's laid where and experience their event. And then I would go away and reverse engineer the delivery of it. And then I was talking with someone and trying to say, and just imagine this will be here and this will be here. Imagine if this was here, how that would be. And imagine if this was here, it would be, this would be the experience. And they said to me, what are you looking at? Where is this picture? I'm like, it's in my mind and I just described it to you. So can you see that too? And they're like, no. I don't we've got no idea what you're talking about because we can't see that. And I'm like, and that was my first, like, the penny dropped that not everyone has this capability to visually create an image in their mind of what we're working towards. So, so that you just said, this is how I have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to see it before I can do it. Like, now you're speaking my language because that's exactly what goes on in my mind. Yeah.
So it requires lots of spaciousness,
Yes.
I'm not very good when there's lots of people and lots of noise. I need lots of spaciousness when the next things are coming through,
Yeah.
I need to be able to hear it and see it and imagine it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Then it starts to happen.
Love that so much. And so, have you always been a gardener, into gardening? Like, what did you do before starting your own business?
Yeah, well, I was a body worker. You would have remembered that. I did 28 years. Midi, body work, Reiki, you name it. I spent a lot of time in a clinic, on maraes, working with our people, doing healing work. And I got very clear then that this was not going to make as much impact as I want to do in my lifetime. I see 25 people a week, that's not cutting it, So I shifted out of that and started to midi. The whenua is what I kind of call it. I'd always grown food, didn't really know what I was doing. And then I got invited to come and live at whakapapa, just out of Waitara. And it was on that whenua where I got really strong ancestral visions and permission to go for it. So I ended up growing like an acre of food. I'd never done this before, remember. And I started teaching a program. I'd never done that before and ended up, I don't know, just became the thing. And then ended up having a kaiako, two other kaiako that were working in Taranaki. So we had three of us just humming, teaching all of our whānau how to grow food through the wānanga awanuiarangi. Yeah, and that was how it started until it stopped.
Wow. Well, for me, it doesn't sound like you're stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, it got better.
You started teaching people how to grow their own food, or like what did that piece look like? Given you'd put your own garden down, I'm presuming that was to grow your own food and live off the land.
Yeah.
Put food in the cupboards.
Yeah, so I remember I had this vision like 24 years ago, and now I was back on land. And so I just started. I read every book I could possibly know. I just dug. I was having my birthday, so I'm like, shit, we've got to get a garden in first before the birthday. So I kind of set myself a goal. 6 weeks it took, I think, before people were coming over. Yeah, just picked it up and ran with it. And then I started to share it. And, we're probably 9 years later now.
Right.
Yeah.
How did that piece come around, now it's time to share? Like most people would just go plant a garden, live off their land, live off the kai that they grow in their garden, and then, be done, or share that food with the people around them because their garden is abundant. But you've picked up teaching. How did that piece kind of come about?
Yes, I'd worked nationally in Māori organics. So I had a network, but I was like the coordinator, manager, So I was desk-bound, really. And so I knew a lot of people in the industry, and I just got a phone call and said, hey, Pounamu, do you want to start teaching a course? I said, I don't know how to do that. They said, you'll be right. You'll get, you just have to get 20 students. And so I'm the sort of girl that actually if someone kind of gives me some bait, I'll probably rise to the challenge, And I did. And it was hugely successful. It was life-changing for many, many students, and they became like family to me. So women come on this program, and then a few weeks down the track, they talk about, some of their burdens that they carry as a parent, as a mother, as a partner, just with life. And so I realised really quickly, remember I was come out of the healing realm, that actually the garden was the new place for healing. And working with groups of people really helped people to unburden themselves with some of their problems. Yeah, and put it into the soil, and in return, grow amazing food. So, yeah, it was a gardening program, but actually it was just a different iteration of the healing stuff I'd been doing, but one-on-one. Yeah, that's kind of how it happened. That's how it happened. And
yeah.
just grew.
I mean, listening to that, you can really start to see, the garden is the place where you get to have some spaciousness to dream and to really visualize your dreams in order to come in from the garden and take action.
Yeah.
And now there's people joining you in the garden, and they're joining you to lighten their load, to lift their burden, to have that spaciousness and have the conversation with others in that spaciousness.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, really. And that you attract. This is what you attract.
Yeah, not everyone sees it like that, but I know that's what happens. Get people in the environment and people will heal by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't need a practitioner. The biggest thing is getting them into the environment, and giving them some tasks. And then actually what will happen was the connection with Papa Tuanuku will just, no one walks away from here going, oh, that was terrible. They walk away going, oh, I feel so much better. They didn't even know there was something not quite right until they feel so much better. It's interesting.
Yeah, right. And I'm presuming that they don't realize that healing part that's just taken place. All they know is that they're walking away feeling better.
Yes, the garden, the Marakai is the vehicle for transformation, is what I know to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it in theory, and now I know it in practice. And my job's just really to facilitate it.
Yeah.
And you'll get potatoes from it, and tomatoes and beans. There'll be tangible outcomes.
Yeah.
But you'll also get this feeling of, oh, I feel lighter, I feel seen, or, like a lot of things that our people unburden themselves with when they come into the māra.
Do you find that happens in a one-on-one conversation, or does it happen when, there is a few hands in the dirt around the same, task? So if you are planting the potatoes and there is a small group of you, that conversation happens in group, or does the conversation happen where it's just one-on-one?
No, groups quite potent. So, smaller groups.
Yeah.
Because actually your hands are busy and your mind is focused, but actually because we're not looking at each other, you've got your hands down, you're busy, people can start to chat, and they feel people only open up if they feel safe.
Yeah.
So you've got to set it up so that people feel safe.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm teaching, my goal is to find people with little watery eyes, because then I know, I've hit a place in their bodies which it's resonated. My words have resonated. And that's payday for me. Oh, great. Done my job. Made them cry, but actually made them feel or made them respond. Their body responds, But it's so easy not to even deal with any of the stuff.
Yeah.
Have our, this lovely fakeness that we put on our masks. My job's not here to do that. It's to kind of get people real, like unpack stuff. I don't need to know what the thing is.
Yeah.
I just might, help people to start to be whole, feel enough.
Not feel broken.
Yeah, we're not broken, just the beaten up bit.
Yeah. Or we haven't yet found the space to fully express ourselves.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah, self-acceptance.
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's not that people are broken, it's just that they haven't yet found the place or the space where they feel that this is who they are. So I love that that's what you do, is just like, they're called to go work in the garden. Like that's their step. Not that they realise that they need the conversation that happens in the garden. They just are feeling called to go and learn how to plant a garden.
And then hopefully they can just take that action, because I've done it now, it's in their body, and do it, apply it at home. That's the ultimate goal, is that people know how to self-regulate in their own spaces through gardening. Yeah, that's what my bigger goal is.
Yeah, you're totally. Yeah. And I see how that happens. Like for me, it happens in my sewing room.
Yes.
So I can feel when I need time in my sewing room, because when it's in there, I'm busy. I've got a goal.
Hands busy.
Yeah, I've got a goal and I'm just working away at it. Learning as I go, but I'm working away at it. But the whole time I'm in there, my mind is just, it's not actually on the sewing. It's elsewhere. But it is that space for you to think, imagine, dream. And sometimes it's just thinking through what you've got to make happen in the next week that you're finding challenging right now. And it's just that space for you to, well, I find for me anyway, to think about a different way to approach it rather than allowing it to continue to be a challenge at me. So, yeah, it's like find your space.
Yeah.
Whether that's the garden or whether that's, whatever that might be. But, yeah, for me it's sewing, and it's not necessarily purely sewing a garment. It is the fabric in my hands that creates the healing, that healing thinking spaciousness.
Love that.
Amazing. You've had many challenges along this journey. What have you learnt about yourself from the challenges in your journey?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? It's always about yourself. Because my old story last year was, I'm stuck in my smallness. Anyway, we'll let that one go with 2024. 2025's one is, you need to get, what is it you really want, Pounamu? So I always always coach myself, So always looking for where those bits are that you're hung up on or that you're getting in your own way on. And then I know through my coaching training that you ask a better question, you'll actually come up with a better answer. Yeah. So some of the challenges are self-imploding. There's definitely been a lone wolf kind of attitude, which is shifting big time now. Like I can't do this all alone. Inviting in people to come in closer, and to accept help. And it's been fascinating who arrives. All wahine Māori, and with similar hearts. So I was inspired by Sadhguru. He's a enlightened being on earth still. And I went to his program in Sydney a couple of summers ago, and I found out he had 1 million volunteers that all just want to serve. And I thought, I'm no Sadhguru, but I was like, well, why don't we just adopt that belief that people will want to come and serve, and that you provide a beautiful healing space for people to do that. So I shifted my thinking, so I didn't feel like a wolf, I've got to do everything, to, this is a great place to come and volunteer and spend time on the whenua and all of the benefits that come from that, and go home with produce and, whatever I'm making in the apothecary. Yeah. Learn, have whanaungatanga, eat, do some stuff. Yes. Shift that thinking and get a better, different outcome. Yeah.
And so what I'm interested to know, what was your go-to way of thinking about that before, these last couple of years when you went on that program with him in Sydney, and then have since done the coach training? What before that, what would be your way of like moving forward and coping with your challenges?
Oh, just get stressed out, drink. No. I thought I could do everything. That was very naive way of thinking. Be superwoman sort of thinking, take it on yourself so your shoulders get really heavy. And, I'd take it all on. And I think I would eat as a way of coping, and probably drink to cope with the stress, and potentially have strong emotions like anger to deal with it. It's very honest here.
Yeah.
But since then, I'm like, actually, there's a different way to do that. And you'll have to let go of some of the control and do an invitation so people feel welcome to come in. Let go of some of the standards, like I work quite fast.
Right.
So just go at the pace that people go at. Yeah. And tap into the other things, like the whanaungatanga is really important. Manaakitanga, make sure that you feed people when they come, or offer abundance that we have here. Yeah. So develop a relationship. So far it's working quite nicely. And I'm not drinking, and I'm not eating as much, and I'm not as angry.
Nice. I love that for you. Like it is a journey, right? When we learn that we can change our thoughts about how we live life. And then when you change your thoughts, because sometimes you get stuck in the busyness of life, and there's just one thought, and that thought then drives all the emotions. And some of those emotions are emotions that you don't know where they come from or how they got there, but they get built up over time, and then they explode. Yeah. The liberating piece of realizing that you can change your thoughts, which changes your outcome, that for me has been the game changer.
And that's leadership. You've got to go first. You got to lead yourself out of wherever it was to the next.
Yeah.
If you want to keep evolving, and if your business wants to grow, because we're in a bit of a growth spurt now, so I can't do this on my own. So I'm learning to invite other people in to help and actually shine their superpower on the thing that they're good at. And for me, just to stay in, in my role, that's where I'm up to, inviting other people in, come and shine.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's chat about leadership for a little while. What do you do to replenish yourself so that you are showing up as the leader that you want to be?
Yeah, so I work the maramataka. So that's our Māori lunar calendar. So for me, this time of year is get going, girl. Spring is around the corner. That is when the pipi whānau is going to turn up at any moment, and that's giving the tohu to start digging the garden. And then it goes through the season for me, like gardening season, through till kind of Easter, early April, and then everything simmers down because it gets cold here in Taranaki. So between June, Matariki, Puanga, and July, August is kind of reset time for me. So I've just come out of that. That's when I've done review of how we went this year, how we're going, my review time, rest, and reset. So just been overseas for 3 weeks, which was really important to leave the land, leave the burden, the responsibilities, and just go and reset. And that looked a bit like massage me every day and let me sit beside a pool. Like I'm serious. That's kind of what my body said it needed. It needed to rest and recuperate. And when that happens, I notice new thoughts come, new perspectives on where you're up to with your business. You're not letting go of your business while you're there. You're just thinking of it in a different way. And actually, I did quite a lot of work while I was away because you're in a fresh state of being. So that's kind of how I roll my year. But then there's daily practice. So up quite early, sun rises, and walking with audio in my ear. And it might be personal development audio. It might be gardening audio if I need some skills or technical skills. It might just be Maya Angelou preaching something beautiful that opens my heart, or it might be a deep wānanga on mātauranga Māori. Depends on what I'm needing, and then that starts the day. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's getting exercise, getting oxygen, plus just setting your mind up for success. Yeah.
Love that. And then what does your daily routine look like? So up early, walk, like feed your brain. What other kind of rituals do you have in your day in terms of what happens next and maybe what happens at the end of the day?
Yeah, great question. Try to do the hui all in one day. So like currently I'll do done by one, which is the idea that get all your brain stuff out the way before 1 p.m. Yeah. So I know myself that I'm better in the mornings. So if I've got my focus on something that I'm a piece of work, I'll try and knock it out by 1 o'clock. Give or take. Might finish at 12, might finish at 2. And then it leaves me the afternoon because I've got to go and sow some seeds and pot some things up and do some physical things in the afternoon. I might come back. I usually come back about 7 and I'll potter around and do a little bit more. Like I'm building a new course at the moment, so I'll do that between 7 and 10 because, you finished dinner and it's quiet. So, life's different now. You don't have children at home. As you know.
I know, but that's very tempting to fill your day with lots of stuff because I'm past the point of having kids at home and having, the responsibility to ensure that they are healthy and well fed and warm and ready to go for their next day. And now that now the kids are self-sufficient and living their best lives, I've had to really resist that temptation to fill my day with all the things work to realize the dream that I have. But to learn to slow down has been the hardest part.
Yeah, I agree. I was a total workaholic. I'm probably just a bit of a workaholic now, not fully.
Yeah. So it still sounds like a full day of up, with the sun and then after dinner going and carrying on.
That's not always the case, but right now I'm really into this next new thing because I do like new things, right? So when there's a new thing, I'm like, yeah, okay, can't wait to get back to it this evening when, but it's the right time. I mean, everything's got a peak and flow. If I don't want to work, well, then I just don't. I'm not feeling like it. There were some days last week which the weather was not great, so I was just like, oh, well, we'll just do something else. There's always, I'm not very structured. I'm very, I don't know, I'm the opposite. I'm really productive.
Yeah.
It just doesn't often,
I mean, and I think that's about knowing yourself and knowing how you operate and what gets the best from you.
Mm-hmm. Like I'll go hard now because it's coming up to new moon. So I know there's heaps of energy available. If if my energy's up, I'll just knock things out and, then that clears the decks.
Yeah. So when it's a low energy time, you can just lean into that as well and not feel pressured to having to do something or achieve something or get something done.
Clean the big shambles that I've made, as I've been, because I'm I like a lot. Yeah, I'll clean my desk or something, do something else.
Yeah,
which is low energy.
Yeah. How does that help with your planning? Like, have you found that there is a cyclica? I know you operate by the māra, which is cyclica, whatever that word is that I can't get out. How does that help with your planning in terms of how you plan your week or how you plan your month in order to ensure that it then flows with what your year looks like?
Yeah, so now I'm planning out till March, April.
Right.
Okay, so putting in the dates forward that are fairly secure, like those are going to be wānanga dates. I'll choose them based on the maramataka. So I kind of lock them in, really. And then weekly, on a Sunday, have a look at the week ahead. So where's all the hui, where's all the workspace, like really try and keep that 9 to 1 or 8 to 1 free to actually do work. Because I was finding, your whole week would get filled with other people's agendas and then you'd be left to the weekend to do your own stuff. I'm like, no. That's the wrong priority. My stuff's most important. So that goes in first. 9 to 1, I'll just book it out. I might not name I'll name the theme that I'm going to focus on. Yeah, and then I'll leave some gaps in the afternoon. If it's not going to get filled with gardening, it might get filled with meetings or friends or bike riding or something fun. Yeah, so I always have a little look before the week arrives. So when the day arrives, we know what we're going to do, what we're going to get up to. Yeah, and not every day's chocker. Like I do try to have fun. This is new. This is a new thing. Add in because it really isn't. As a workaholic, you just don't end up getting much fun.
Yeah.
So try to do that little shift.
Yeah, and balance.
Yeah.
How has your leadership evolved since you very first started in business, when you were doing body work and healing work? How has your leadership changed? Because, that leader that you just described to me right now, that's quite thoughtful, quite intentional around how you structure your day, your energy, your year, and allowing for those ebbs and flows. So, yeah, how would you say that your leadership has evolved to get to this point?
Yeah, I guess it's a lot of questioning. Is this what I really truly want to do? Is this what I'm here for? I'll always ask myself that when I'm getting asked to do something. And then protecting my energy has become really big as I age. Okay, so learning to say no, so creating boundaries. That's quite a recent learning. And that has a little dialogue like, what am I going to, if I say yes to that, what am I saying no to for myself? So, yeah, I have to put things through a system now in my brain, like, is this actually going to serve me or is it serving somebody else's business? The other thing I've learned is to speak out. I'm not, I used to be very subdued and a pleaser. I suffer from being a pleaser. So I've been working really hard on that. And to do that, you have to find your voice to be able to say, no, I appreciate it, but no thank you, not this time. I can recommend somebody else. And so that's empowering, and that's helping me as a leader stay true to who I am, what I really want. Because I want things, actually, a lot of the stuff I've got, my life is pretty sweet, but it's more what impact do you have, Pounamu, what else is there that you'd like to impact? And my latest is, I'd like to work less hard. I'd like to work with more ease and grace. And so what would that look like as far as the programs that you run? So just working that through, what I say yes to, does that give you more ease and grace? Does it still have the impact? Does it still align with your values? Yeah, maybe it's time to charge more, so therefore, the income still flows in abundance. Yeah, and I guess I'm always learning to ask myself, is this what you want to do? Is this still for you? Yeah.
And that's a massive question. That's a massive question to ask yourself. Yeah. And I think as long as you can always say yes, then you're like, great, well, then let's keep going.
So let's keep saying yes, we'll keep going. But lately it's been that, yes, but how could we do it with ease and grace?
Yeah.
How could you streamline it so it's less of your actual time? Yeah. So
yeah,
it's good. It's a yes, but it's also got a but.
Yeah. A yes, but as long as it provides this, this, and this.
Yeah. And that's just maturing and deciding I'm the leader of myself, in my business. I'm choosing what I do and don't do. And it's really empowering.
When did that shift happen for you, to realise that you're the leader of self? And when you are the leader of self, that actually you get to say yes or no. When did that kind of shift happen for you?
Yeah, it's been lingering for a while, but didn't quite have the courage to step out, that leader. I think when you get close to burnout, when you physically go, I can't do this any longer. Yeah, so there's glimpses of that.
Yeah.
And they usually happen about April in the year when you've been going for months. Because I don't have summer holidays, you see, like rest of people, because you're busy in the garden, it's growth time.
Yeah.
So when you're getting that lingering feeling of, I don't know if I can keep going, it's not enjoyable anymore, that's an alarm bell to me. It's like, okay, you need to shift something. You don't want to end up like that every April. That's not good. So what do you need to shift? You need to give less of yourself. You need to train someone else up so they're delivering, not you. They're just like these real simple strategies, I suppose, to think about. Yeah. So that's why I'm always kind of skimming over myself going, God, is everything all right? Are you all right? Is your Wairua okay? Your Māori? Are you giving to the right places? Are you saying no to the right places?
Yeah. Yeah. That is a great piece of advice, is noticing when you're feeling at the end of everything that you can give, and noticing that comes around at a certain time of the year, and what's the trigger for that, and what can I do to change landing in the same place like every April. If I'm landing in the same place every April, then something needs to change. That's really sound advice for others too, because I used to be in that place in November every year because conferencing was a winter season, right? So I used to get summers to relax, chill, switch off. But come November, I would be exhausted.
Yes.
And so it's, So it doesn't matter. I think no matter what you do, there is a time where you will feel like that you can't give any more. So when you can sit back and say, what's causing that? What are the trigger points? And what can I do differently so I can land in this same time every year, but not with the same feeling every year?
Yeah, because that's your growth, right? Or success has got you met you're growing better or more, or because you're realizing that. And so you're putting other things in place. Yeah, so that's the goal this April. Come on through the season still with lots of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that.
Not hobbling to the end.
Yeah. I'm interested to know, do you have like annual goals for the garden?
Oh, so the goal for the forest was to plant 400 trees. So we did that. The goal for the herb garden is to fill it this year with probably about 7 varieties of different herbs that will then be turned into product. The goal for the food garden is to have seasonal food for the next 7 months, and then to be able to store in the preserving cupboard, like a lot of preserves from the orchard, so there's food through the winter.
And does that change every year? Like, do you kind of go, all right, this year the goal for the garden is this. This year the goal for the garden is this?
Not really. It's just like I had 120 brassicas in for winter. The sheep got in, and now it's just like a blank canvas. So it feels like, we're starting again. That was unexpected. Little setback. No, it'll be more or less the same. Just feed ourselves throughout the growing season.
Yeah.
We've also got a berry house here, so my goal really is to grow more berries than what I did last year. Yeah, to get some actually into the freezer, not just into the kitchen. Yeah, to improve my quality of my trees, I suppose, my berries. Yeah, I think that's the goal. It's always to look after Papa Tuanuku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that so much. I know we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but what does legacy mean for you?
What I do today will have impact in 6 months, 6 years, 60 years. Like my leadership, my voice, whatever message I'm leaving, germinating in people with my teachings, that they go on and they teach that to their babies. That's my legacy, is the work that I've chosen. Well, I think it chose me.
Yeah.
That has impact, intergenerational impact. I can just imagine what people talk about at my tangi. Oh, the broccoli, the this, the that. But, like, if I can teach a wahine, which is mainly women that I teach, that she can grow her own food and that her babies can eat that kai and that they know where food comes from, then that feels like part of the legacy. The next bit would be for them to pick it up as well. So it normalizes. So we get addicted to the taste of organic food, what real food tastes.
Yes. Yes to that.
That's what I want the new addiction to be. Not vapes, not sugar.
Yeah.
Food that tastes organic and tasty and fresh.
Yeah. I mean, my childhood memory is sitting in the garden. Like, both of my grandfathers were gardeners, right? So one was apple cucumbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would just peel them and eat them straight out of the garden.
Yeah, that.
And then my other grandfather, I remember sitting in the garden in the pea, because the peas were going up the shed at the time. He had built this kind of trellisy thing, and they grew up the shed. So you could sit in the garden and pick the pea pods, open the pea pods, and then just eat the peas. The peas are like crunchy, sweet, like they taste nothing like the frozen peas like do it all. I'm like, you haven't tasted a pea until you've eaten it out of the pod in the garden.
Yeah.
But they're the most juiciest, sweet, like taste that,
It's pleasure. Complete pleasure.
yeah. It's just incredible when you've had that experience, and then nothing out of the supermarket tastes anything like it.
No, and if we get to people's palates, they'll want it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Beautiful legacy.
Yeah, that's a legacy.
Beautiful legacy. Pounamu, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure just to talk about all kinds of things, lots of visualizing, dreaming, all kind of grounded in spirituality and energy and body, rooted down into the whenua, like makes my heart sing.
Oh, that's so good.
But there is one question that I have for you before we leave today, and this question is left by a previous guest. So I've introduced this segment where a previous guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who the next guest is, but it's just interesting that this question is perfect for you. This is the piece that blows my mind, is that I don't really line up my podcast guests as I should in order to think about what the listener's hearing and how that's connected or different. But it's been quite interesting that how this has come together. Every guest that has answered a question, it feels like the question has been like custom written for that guest. So how the universe lands the guests onto this podcast is very organic in the way that that's happening. But the question that was left by the last guest is, what role has community played in your business journey? And how do you balance the challenges of giving back with the challenge of business success?
Great question. And what a great thing to be able to weave into the podcast to connect all the wahine that you interview. So the community has been a huge part of my business journey. So I've been working with 3 iwi, now almost going to be 4 this year. So those are our people in our community that are learning the skills, the tupuna skills of growing kai. So without the community, almost my business, that's a big portion of my business. So super grateful. I'm the sort of girl that walks down the road and someone will whip out their phone and go, "Hey, Pounamu, look what I've grown." And they'll show it to me, their photos from their garden. Now that makes my heart sing, to know that people have learned the skill and they're applying it, because that was the purpose of running programs, is to apply the knowledge. So there's that part is super important. Part of the fabric of my business is to work closely with our people and our community. The next bit about giving back, no one usually leaves here without some kind of koha. And when we first came here, this interesting thing started happening. We started to receive all these koha from people, like gifts, like Cody trees and our blue barrow that has food for sale on the down the drive. All these beautiful koha arrived. And so that just set up the ethos of, well, just give back, So whoever comes here, they end up leaving with mainly kai. Like at the moment it's lemons and oranges. So that it's just reciprocal, that modi of takoha, taho, receiving and giving just continues, which is our gift from our whenua.
Love that. E te tuahine, ngā mihi nui ki a koe, pai te kōrero ki a koe, pai te kite a koe a tēnei rā. So really, it has just warmed my heart to have you record this session with me and really just share really openly. I know today we talked about some I would say what I would classify as some vulnerable topics. And, you just approached every one of it with grace and with such a warm heart. So thank you so much for sharing all that you do, all that you are, and the dream that you have for how you want to be known in the world and what the legacy is that you're leaving behind. Very, very honoured to have you here and have this conversation with you. Very special. So, ngā mihi kia ora. Thank you so much for listening to Wahine. If today's kōrero resonated with you, inspired you, or made you stop and think, I'd love for you to follow the show and share it with another wahine in business. You'll find all of the links and details from this episode in the show notes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, I would really love it if you could leave a quick rating or review wherever you're listening to the podcast, because that goes a long way to helping others find this podcast and the stories we're sharing in this space. So until next time, keep building your business your way, grounded in who you are and the legacy you're here to create. The podcast music is Te Rau Orongo by Ngāneko Erawata. The episode is edited by LJS Creative Services, and the show notes and blog post are written by Bellbird Writing.